heard a negative stereotype or comment made about Greek life or a specific Greek group on campus? I'm sure most of us have. I'm a freshman here at the College of Worcester, and I'm part of the Pi Kappa Peanuts. And one of the first things that I noticed when I came to campus was that the relationship between Greeks and non-Greeks were damaged. When I started rushing, I often got negative comments like, "Why would you do that?" And I've met many people who have a negative view about Greek groups. So the relationship between Greeks and non-Greeks on campus are damaged, and we need to take measures in order to mend this relationship. First, I'll examine what is wrong with the relationship between Greeks and non-Greeks on campus. Next, I'll explain what can be done to help fix this problem. Then, I'll examine what will happen to the campus if this problem is not fixed soon. And finally, I'll explore what you can do to help mend this problem. So, what's wrong with the relationship between Greeks and non-Greeks on campus? Let me explain. We can often see the negative relationship between Greeks and non-Greeks on social media sites like Twitter and Facebook. One of the most notorious examples is probably on the Facebook Worcester meme page. For those of you who don't know, a meme is an idea spread through the internet, often using a picture, phrase, or pop culture reference. It often pokes fun of a certain situation, person, or something. So this meme uses Scumbag Steve and shows something like that a scumbag would say. So this meme, you can read it. But what was most striking about this this was posted on February 24th on the page, and what was most striking about this was probably the comments you saw underneath this meme. Some of those comments included, and they were all posted on February 24th, "Those guys suck," and "F those guys." But there were also negative comments by Greeks about non-Greek groups, like "Future meme, join the marching band, doesn't just blow the trumpet." Another example of the damaged relationship between Greeks and non-Greeks is that people have the idea that Greeks just throw parties. But what people are often unaware of is the service and other involvement that many Greeks have on campus. Everyone who's a part of a Greek group is required to do 12 hours of service, but many often go above and beyond this and plan service things for the campus, like the Sober, Safe, and Smart Run. Also, many Greeks are involved in other groups on campus and take leadership roles. For example, the last two SGA presidents have been a part of Pi Kappa. Another example of the damaged relationship between Greeks and non-Greeks is that there are often mean and untrue stereotypes that are displayed. An example of this is if you go to the second floor of the library. On many of the tables, the older tables especially, they're carved in words and images, and these are just two examples I found of something negative said about Greek groups, and there are many others. And you can see that they're often vulgar and inappropriate and mean. Another example of the damaged relationship is often I get a bad reaction when I tell someone that I'm in a Greek group. For example, when I went to Dr. Wick to talk about my speech, she said, "Oh, I wouldn't have thought you were in a sorority." Now that, I wasn't offended or anything, but that shows that she may have had kind of a negative image of what a typical sorority girl is. In an interview by Bianca Hand with Rachel Brenner on March 12th of this year, Rachel commented that she often gets a similar reaction from people when she tells them that she's in a sorority. In an interview with Sarah Rayner on April 10th, when I asked her what she heard about Greek groups or negative things she's heard about them, she said that she heard someone say that they're a blemish on Worcester's reputation. When I asked her why she thought she heard this, she said that, well, I guess because they throw a lot of parties. But like the Worcester Voice said on April 13th, and I quote, "There will always be parties with or without Greek life." So, how serious is this problem? This damaged relationship causes contention between groups, especially when it comes to the social scene and housing on campus. In an interview with Alyssa Hullings, who's a part of Greek life on campus, on April 10th, she said that she's heard people comment and say that Greeks steal houses and dominate the social scene. This contention is a serious problem on campus. Also, you can see how serious this problem is that at a lot of events, it's almost all Greeks or almost all non-Greeks. For example, the Sober, Safe, Smart Run was almost all Greeks. And then another example is the Global Engagement Network, which I'm involved in. When we put on a seminar, it was almost all non-Greeks. And I think that this is a major problem because it shows division on the campus. The division between Greeks and non-Greeks is very easy to see, especially from the outside. You can see it on the internet and stuff like that. So it can give the college a bad reputation. So why should you care about this problem? It gives a bad image of the school that we all love. And we want the school to be a community, and this division doesn't help do that. Also, it can keep people from getting to know each other. Negative stereotypes portrayed may prevent people from getting to know each other better, and the division on campus may prevent Greeks from getting to really know non-Greeks and non-Greeks to really get to know Greeks. So what can be done about this problem? Well, to fix it, we have to work together. Let me explain. So this is a ranking on College Prowler, and it's an ongoing ranking from students, and it compares the relationship between Greeks and non-Greeks. So Case Western and St. Louis University have two of the highest rankings, and then the College of Worcester is all the way down at number 366. When I read comments from some of the top ranking schools from students about why they have such a good relationship between Greeks and non-Greeks, almost everyone consistently commented that the events most of the events on campus were equally attended by Greeks and non-Greeks. So what can we do? Well, Greeks can host campus-wide events where everyone can attend. Also, Greeks can advertise the good things that they do to hopefully get rid of stereotypes. Greeks and non-Greeks can work together on service projects to get to know each other and really make a good image of the school and help the school and community. And Greeks can co-sponsor events with other groups to get to know more people and get their name out there. So how will these things help fix the problem? Well, by having events, or campus-wide events, people will get to know each other better. By advertising the good things, hopefully stereotypes will be eliminated. And by having service projects, people will have to work, or Greeks and non-Greeks will have to work together to help the school as a whole. So how do I know this will work? Well, at Duke University, which I realize is a much bigger school, but they're facing a similar problem. They have contention between Greek groups and non-Greek groups on campus, but unlike unlike us, they're doing something to help fix this problem. So you might be asking, how are you going to get people involved? Well, through the Inter-Greek Council, people and advertising, and how will you pay for this? Well, Dr. Wick helped me come up with a good idea, is if Greek groups do something bad, or they'll have to pay a fine, and this fine will help pay for these events. So if this problem isn't fixed, the tension and division on campus will continue to grow. In conclusion, I looked at what is wrong with this problem, then actions that can be taken, the negative outcomes that could happen if this problem isn't fixed. So what can you do? Well, expand your social circles, attend different events, go to different parties, and get to know each other better. We all love this community, so let's help to work to make this community closer and fix this problem between the relationship between Greeks and non-Greeks.
Could you explain what you mean by stealing houses?
Well, Greek groups, a lot of times, or most Greek groups get houses on campus, and any group with a specific purpose can apply for housing, but many people feel that Greek groups are given priority over the houses they get.
You propose as one of your solutions as making the Greek groups pay if they do something bad. Is that not just feeding into the stereotype that Greek groups are bad?
Well, I think that Greek groups aren't necessarily bad, but everyone makes mistakes and does mess up, and we all know this, and we can maybe do not just Greek groups pay, but also other groups with houses. If they like break a rule or like get caught by security, then they pay, and that might be a better way to go about it.
Do you think that, like, in addition to advertising all the good stuff that we do, improving what we already do as an option, like, for example, at a lot of colleges they take Greek really seriously, and we sort of don't, but then like maybe if we did, it'd be better, because I know a lot of non-Greeks go to lip sync and then they have a really fun time, so it kind of goes against what they say, because when they have fun, it's because of the stuff Greeks plan.
Right, I think that's a good point. And like maybe improving, like, yeah, Greek Week and having more events like lip sync where everyone attends would be a good solution.
Do you think that the problem and the divide is stemming from the Greek groups trying to be so exclusive with things like pledging and just the way that they act in general? Or do you think it's stemming from people that actually have like hostile feelings against Greeks?
I think maybe part of it is because only certain people are accepted into Greek groups, but I think that's kind of like, people have to realize that's the nature of the group. It's like so many other groups on campus, like a sports team, but also I think that it grows from a little bit of just a hostile environment. So.
Do you think that people don't like them because they just didn't get bids or something, so that they wanted to be part of the group, and that's the reason why it's so hostile?
I think maybe in like a very few cases that's why, but I think the majority of time it's not because of that.
Can you suggest having campus-wide events where it will be equal, like Greeks versus non-Greeks ratio, but the campus itself is mainly non-Greek?
Well, like in comparison to how many Greeks there are, so like not necessarily the same amount of people. But.
How do you think you could harmonize things between the inter-Greeks? You know how there's a lot of conflict between them all?
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of conflict and tension between a lot of Greek groups now, and I have seen that. But I think that right now there's work being done to try to fix that problem. For example, the Inter-Greek Council. And I know like recently the Peanuts posted something with the Alpha Gams, and alumni came back and wrote something mean on the mirror. But what happened was the younger people came to us and apologized, and so I think that really, and they were like, we don't want this to affect our relationship, we really do like you. So I think that shows that the improvement, the relationship between like Greeks are improving too, through measures like the intergroup council.